Monday. I got the one and only Cody Davis back on. So good morning, man. How was your weekend?
Good morning. It was a good weekend. I drove to the west side. I'm doing some debt refinancing and paying off. So I'm clearing 50,000 of my debt obligation this week, refinancing 12 plex of mine. So that should close soon, hopefully by Thursday or Friday. And that's actually lowering my rate by 1.25%. So I am very excited about that because it's a $1 million loan. So that's not a small sum of money. What's
Yeah,
going on in
very
your
cool.
world?
It's raining again this weekend in Hawaii. Another storm should be over, but we were on the storm watch again. So it's where I'm at on the island, not too bad, but the other side of the island, you just can't catch a break. So a couple weeks ago, they were badly flooded. Then it's getting hit every weekend seems like. So once they
Wow.
clean up, it just yeah, they get the mud out of there, and yeah, so hopefully they catch a break soon. But definitely, yeah, fun weekend, busy. Got good news. I probably will be in Japan now. The school got approval, so I won't be going on Dihon's cruise. I'll be with my son in Japan at that time. But like I said, you run the Gen Z call on Saturday in the school community, and also you come out with videos Tuesday, Thursday on your channel. And someone did bring up your video on the Saturday call. It was about finding deals on the MLS still yet, and that was one of your videos this past week. So do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, that's a fiveplex that I bought. It was on the MLS. And that is probably the only deal I've ever bought where I won on price. And I really felt like, hey, this is a good purchase. It's in Soap Lake, Washington, small town America. It was listed for 175,000. And for 5 units in Washington State, it's a great price. It's 4 residential, 1 commercial. Needed work. It was 100% vacant. But for less than 40,000 a unit, it's a win. And let's throw out the commercial. Let's say it's not even commercial. It's less than 50,000 a unit because 4 residential. So I was happy with it, but I was thinking, you know what? It's kind of small for what my buy box is. So I throw an offer that would be too good to pass up. They probably won't take it. It's a disrespectful offer, but I'm going to make it. And they took it. So I went from 175,000 down to 115,000. They said, you know what, let's do it. And I got 1 unit rented out right now for 800. I'm working on getting another one rented out for 1450, another one for 1200. The last residential will be 1,000. So, I mean, it'll hit the debt coverage really well. Like we're going to be bringing in between all the units around $5,000 a month once we get that commercial unit online, and $5,000 a month for an all-in cost of 150 works. So I think when it's said and done, it'll be worth 375 to 425 because it is a small town, and trying to get a loan on it for 250. Pull out $100,000, use that to pay down some other debt obligations, and let the rents pay for the debt service.
Yeah, so I think the thing that caught people's attention was, you're saying you found it on the MLS still yet. I think a lot of people maybe are hearing that there's no deals on the MLS, nothing cash flows anymore. I mean, so I think Dion talks about it, right? Most of his I think all of his portfolio was off of the MLS, right? So you just found something in your area. And I think so the offer you made, would you consider that a disrespectful offer in your market?
My offer was disrespectful, but they took it. Majority of my deals have not been disrespectful offers. So most of them, I pay their price. They give me the terms that I want or somewhere close to what I want, and I make it work. But majority of my deals have been on the MLS. My first 12plex was on the MLS. My 38 unit was on the MLS. I bought a resort from the MLS. I bought my Union property on the MLS. That 5 unit, I bought an 8 unit on the MLS. A lot of the stuff I've bought has been on the open market. And those have been, for the most part, the MLS deals have been better than some of the off-market deals I've done.
Interesting. So what are key things that you're looking for MLS or finding deals on the MLS? Like I know, is it days on market for yourself, or what are you that's attracting you for these deals on the MLS?
Well, if you like the property, that's the first thing, right? I love the majority of the properties that I buy. If you don't love it, why are you buying it? I mean, it shouldn't just be for money, but it should move you forward. And when I see a deal on the MLS that moves me forward, I put an offer. The 40 unit I'm under contract on, it's on the MLS. Most of them are. Most of the deals are listed. So if you like it and it can move you forward, like that's what gets me going. Not, oh, it's been on the market for 300 days or 1,200 days or
Have you ever
10,000 days.
have you ever saw something listed and that day you put an offer on it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Done that before too.
I think that's the one hold up for a lot of newer investors is they think that they have to get a disrespectful offer accepted. So there's like you say, if they see something that they like, but in their mind they're not willing to pay list price just because they're kind of hearing like they're supposed to get a disrespectful offer, I think. So, but like you're saying, you saw something day one and you're willing to make an offer on it, right?
Yeah. If you want it, go after it. That's the bottom line. If you don't pursue it, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing too. It comes with experience too. Like even Zuber, he kind of I think he talked about it, right? He regret a little bit. He was working on a new build, I believe, or a package deal in Vegas, and he kind of was trying to negotiate like a little bit more to get off of it. And then he kind of looked back and oh, I should have just took what the deal was, and it still would have penciled. And but I was just in a sense he was greedy, right? So I think that's the thing. You say if you like it, sometimes lock it, get it under contract, move forward with it. But that's the one thing I think. So hopefully, people that are listening that maybe on the newer side are trying to get their first deal. Yeah, if the numbers work at list price, don't be afraid to make that offer, right?
And to be fair, I bought probably 20 plus deals before I bought anything based on the price. So price is not the most important thing with buy and hold real estate, but it can be if you make your business model about it. But I bought tens of millions of property, not properties, but in property value before I ever focused on price.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes, I'm not sure if you hear it on the Gen Z call on Saturdays, but there is some calls, people bring deals and maybe the number they're comfortable with is, maybe 10K off the purchase price. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
10K sounds like a lot if that whole 10K was coming out of your pocket, but it's 10K off the purchase price, which is kind of, if you think about it, 30-year amortized, that 10K, what does it really break down to today, right? So some people get caught up in that purchase price amount, but if you factor in like over 30 years amortized, how much is that really going to make a difference today, right? So I think that's the one thing too, is some people get so caught up on that price and they overcomplicate things. But like I said, if you like it and generally the numbers work, it would be good to maybe try to get it under contract. Hey, Bitcoin Nick is here. He is probably back from his travels. He was on vacation for spring break, so we skipped this past week. So hopefully we'll be back talking about Bitcoin on Saturday, and we got to catch up with all the world news and how that's going to impact Bitcoin. Possibly, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. But before we talk about your deal a little bit more, the MLS deal, there was a question before we even started today. Curtis was waiting, so he must be teaching today. I want to get his question in there. So he says, Cody, I'm guessing you don't use NWMLS forms. Do you and the seller each get an attorney?
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that question.
Yeah, that was before he was ready to rock and roll. So he was here before we even started.
I use NWMLS forms. I'm a real estate agent, so I'm not like the best with the forms. So like an attorney would be better, but I've been around the block with those forms for 7 going on 8 years. So I'm pretty familiar with them, and they always change. So the ones that I use, I've gotten comfortable with, and the ones I don't, I don't use. So
Harrison Trade Better 99 is asking, Cody, do you look at foreclosure deals on the MLS? Do you look at the deals any differently?
I don't. No, I don't buy really. I don't buy a lot of distressed properties. All the stuff I buy is income producing day one and good. I mean, someday I'll buy distressed properties and foreclosure, but I'm gonna have to be a lot stronger financially before I pursue those, because the ones that I'm going to be pursuing at that level will probably be like 40 to 100 unit properties that people syndicated and messed up. But I'm years away from being able to tackle that, because I don't want to syndicate that. I would look at syndication as a model, but I want to be able to take those down, me and my wife, or maybe one partner. And we're not there yet.
I was going to mention, you looked like you had a fun day. I saw postings on your social media. I was going to comment. I thought you were letting your hair kind of grow out a little bit to show the stress and stuff you were going through, or whatever you were dealing. Like, I thought you were kind of letting the patches show. You cut it again.
So I did, and I had hair growing in some of the spots that were blonde, because when I was a kid, and whenever my hair regrows, it grows back blonde. I was like, this looks the same. So I'm going to give it another 2 weeks.
Okay. James Hillis says, what if you're trying to buy for less than the owner paid?
Well, I've never seen that on any of the size deals I'm buying. Never, because the people that are selling to me in my market have owned stuff for decades. So like, there's no situation where they would have paid that much decades ago. There was only one that I know of in my market where someone won like $100+ million lottery out of Soap Lake. They bought up a whole bunch of property, overpaid for everything, and then they sold it for way less, but they could afford to. But that's not reality where I live. Just haven't seen it.
Hey, Gus is here. Gus will be joining me tomorrow. Brandon is going to take a break for a few weeks, so Gus will be filling in. Gus will be joining me tomorrow. We still got to figure out what we're going to talk about. Hey, Ken and Jenny are here. Flavio, oh yeah, like I said, Cody is streaming live also on his channel, so go jump over there, please. Like, subscribe, comment. But Flavio says, I competing real estate with deer hunt. Maybe I'm comparing real estate with deer hunting. Deers never go to your house. You have to go out and hunt for them. Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
True. I mean, they do come to a lot of people's houses where I live. Deer will run through the yard and they'll hang out, but it's totally true. You got to go get what you want.
So how many offers, Cody, do you think you submit a week, let's say?
I mean, a week, if you round to the nearest whole number, 0. I mean, I don't put a lot of offers out. Like, if there's 52 weeks in the year, I'd have to put out 2 offers, I guess, to be rounded to 1. I think that's the math. That might be wrong, but yeah, I mean, I might put out 2 to 6 offers a year now. So,
but you have a lot of conversations, right, with owners. Yeah. So that was another thing. Like I said, your MLS deal was brought up on the Gen Z call on Saturday, and actually your name was brought up again today in the accountability call in school that kicks off the week. Someone who is getting their real estate, or has got their real estate license and trying to build their kind of brand, and they liked how you just had a lot of things, and you talk to owners, you talk to different property managers, and you put yourself out there. So they were talking about, they kind of want to model themselves after that and kind of put together even small events, and that's their way to sit down and get in contact with different owners. So I think that's very, so I mean, if you're not submitting offers, like you say, you're still talking to these different operators out there, right?
Yeah, I put on a lot of things. I mean, I forget some of the things sometimes that I did, but I look back and like I would host game nights at the office I used to work with and just, play, be like cash flow or Monopoly. I would go to different events every single week and connect with people there. And some of those events I'd be driving 40 minutes just to listen and then 40 minutes back. And I was doing a lot of that stuff. I mean, it was every week, all the time back then. So it's important. You got to put yourself out there. And I was doing a lot of driving just to connect with owners. I'd drive 3 hours to Moses Lake, have a meeting, then it'd be 5 hour back. There'd be some car crash that the highway, and it happened.
And do
But
your
it was
yard.
really
You were
important.
driving to do your yard. So um,
Yeah, we showed a photo of that last week.
but also, like, I also want to give everyone go check out Christian's YouTube channel, Multifamily Mastery. Cody did a sit down with his old partner, and they had a great discussion. And it was fun seeing you guys talk about some old stuff you guys used to work on together. And it was good to kind of hear the old Cody Davis and what he was doing back then. But go check that out also. But there is Cody's channel right now. He's, like I said, he is streaming live right now. So go jump over there, subscribe, comment. Flavio is asking, Cody, how was your trip to Roy? Mark lost a good Saturday call.
It was good. I got to go hang out with some friends. And one of the reasons I went to Roy, other than just catching up with some folks, I'm refinancing a private debt with a private debt. And I'm getting a little discount in the process of doing that. So I drove over to Roy, got to hang out with them for a while. I got the check I needed to refinance that obligation. And then I drove home. It was 11 hours in the car, but the things we do to make stuff happen.
I think I did catch the end of that before you jumped off. I think you were saying you had to meet with a private money lender or something. I think that's why you hopped off. So caught the tail end of that. Yes, Nick is in South Beach. Looks like Josh said he saw some videos of him down there. Looks beautiful. Absolutely. Hyder is saying, yes, Bitcoin is computer code and doesn't care what's happening in the world, but how people interact with Bitcoin is what changes. Yep, absolutely. Josh Burdick also says, who cares what owner paid? On that point, do you ever, does that ever, is that really important to you? Like, is that something you really look at and care what the owner paid for the property?
No, it doesn't matter. They could have paid $1 for it and sell it to me for $10 million. It doesn't matter. If it moves you forward, it moves you forward. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, that's pretty black and white.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I think some people maybe overcomplicate things with is where they get caught up on what the owner paid, and almost like they don't want to see someone else make money. So they're like, he only paid this much, so why do I have to pay this price? And even though this price makes sense for my deal, but they're getting hung up on what the owner paid, right? So I think it's like you're saying, it doesn't to you, it's not relevant, right? Like I don't really care what that owner paid. If the deal works for me and the price works for me, then that's kind of what matters most to me.
Yeah, and I bought a property where the owner paid like 400 grand. I think it was 380. I paid $1,125,000 and I overpaid. Today it's worth 2 million, going on 2.1 million because I just got my insurance lowered by a bajillion dollars. So, and now it's worth 100 grand more. And that's probably going to be too much money for someone. They're going to be like, well, you paid $1 million less. I'm like, of course I did. And that's why we buy and hold. And someday it'll be worth 3 million. Someday, I mean, theoretically, when I'm super old, going on 100, I mean, it might be worth $10 million. And someone's going to say, I can't believe you paid $1 million, but different dollars.
Yep. If it pencils for you, I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't think it matters what the owner paid or the original owner paid for it. So as long as the numbers work for you. So everyone needs to make money, right, for this to work. So that's all that really matters. Yes, Hyder, definitely a great sit down. Christian and Cody. There's a great video to go check out. So go watch that over there. Hey, Nicole's here. Good morning. Yeah, anything. I mean, so like, I didn't realize you did that many deals off the MLS. Every time I kind of just think of you, the top of my head, I'm thinking just like creative finance stuff, right? And so it's like, you found these
I've
owners.
done, yeah, I mean, I've done some stuff off market too, but a lot of the on market stuff was seller finance. I mean, there's other stuff on the market too, like the triplexes. I did 2 triplexes that were on the MLS. Those were seller financed. Basically, all the deals I did on the MLS were seller financed. Every single one. I think even still to this day, except for that 5 unit. The 5 unit paid cash, but everything else was seller financed on the MLS. And I still bought a handful of stuff like off market. I bought a 12, a 6, a 10, an RV park, a motel, 2 motels, some other stuff, 15 unit, a 6 unit. Like there's a lot of stuff both on and off, but yeah, you can definitely build a portfolio on the MLS.
I think you may have mentioned that a little bit earlier in this discussion, but why would you say that MLS deals may have been better than your off market deals?
Well, I mean, just the numbers, like the actual numbers were better on some of them. I mean, some of the off market stuff, I got great pricing.
Would
It's not
you
like,
does it have anything to do with the property conditions also maybe? Like,
no, because I bought really nice brand new stuff off market. I mean, you can do both. You can do it on market, off market. You can buy new stuff on or off, old stuff on and off. But it depends on who you're reaching out to. Like on the market, it's in front of you. You can pick and choose what you want to pursue. Off market, you also get to pick and choose what you want to pursue. If you don't want to buy old, you don't call people that own old properties. It's pretty simple.
so the one that you just got off the MLS, why do you think it was sitting there for so long? What did someone maybe miss on it?
Well, the 5 unit wasn't on the MLS all that long. The 8 unit was on the MLS forever. I mean, it was like 200 and something days. The agent did a terrible job marketing it. So they did terrible photos. They had 2 photos and they were from the street, and that was it. Probably the least flattering angle of the building possible. They didn't really market it all that well. Spelling errors in the listing, like it was just bad. So I went and drove it, and I was like, "Oh, this is a great deal. We're going to buy it and double the property value in 6 months," and we did. So that was nice. I don't think a lot of people went to go see it because the listing was so poor. Other stuff that I bought on the MLS had problems with it. So the 39 unit that I bought had issues. It had the biggest drug operation in Grant County history that got busted in the 90s. There were people that you don't really want to talk to living there that'll shoot you if you look at them the wrong way. I mean, it's just it was bad. There's so many drugs. Every unit had bugs. Everything about the property was messed up. The roof leaked. The septic had issues. The electrical had issues. The plumbing had issues. None of the tenants had working water. Like that was a dumpster fire. So it was listed for 13 years straight.
That sounds almost like the property Curtis may have been talking about on our live stream on Saturday. Someone asked a question. I think they asked him, like Curtis, if he um, was to have a girlfriend or date someone, like would they have to be interested in real estate kind of thing or something like that to that. And he told a story about how this, I guess this girl he just started dating or was interested in, he took her to a property that he was interested in or he saw, he wanted to take a look at, and he went there and it was just this complete dump, like this hoarder house, and I guess she got very kind of taken aback by it, and so it kind of sounds like the house that you may have was just mentioning, but that was a funny story Curtis was talking about, and uh, someone commented that Curtis should have told her that that was the smell of money, though that type of house, right? So but yeah, I think people don't realize there is still deals that are available on the MLS, and Cody is, proof of it. He still gets deals off the MLS. So does Dion. I still get deals off the MLS, so they are there, right? I mean, they're just you got to know your market. You got to just keep looking, and there's certain things you're looking for, and other people are, a lot of times you're just looking for homes to live in, right? So there is a difference there. So there's certain factors and days on market, and like you said, and if like you said, if it fits your buy box off the bat, a lot of times, don't be afraid to make that offer. Don't feel like you have to only get a disrespectful offer in, right? But like I said, Cody also does Wednesday live streams with Justin Cambra, and they also did a live stream this past Wednesday, and I got to I live stream at the same time, so I like to catch it on the replay. But they did a Q1 wrap up and kind of what's heading into Q2 for them. So, Cody, give us a little insight and feedback on what that video covered and what you guys were discussing.
Yeah, we were just talking about goals, reflecting on the first quarter. We just passed through Q1. A lot of the goals were accomplished, and I wanted to build some liquidity, and so I did that. I also had to survive a pretty rough first couple months. Everything that could have gone wrong at some of my properties went wrong in the first month of the year, and so I had put together some liquidity, more than I'd ever had before. And it's funny the lessons you learn when you think you're making progress. Well, all of that liquidity went away because I was having every single week, I kid you not, for like a month and a half, I had a 5-figure expense. That was not an operating expense. It was a capital event that, it's like, oh, I get one of those a year maybe. And it's like, oh, I'm getting one every week for 6 weeks. And so every week I was burning through 5 figures that should not have had to go out. And it just kept happening. 14 grand here, 10 grand there, 21,000 here. Like it was ridiculous. So now, I had that goal of building liquidity. I've shared that on the uh, school community for quite a while. We do the accountability call. And so I did build up some over the course of that period, despite having those issues. Wanted to get my occupancy up. Well, I did that. I had to fire property management. So my Q2 goal is going to be to really get that streamlined. We're getting all the systems built in real time. But it's going to be hopefully a better quarter this quarter than the last, because I was just getting wrecked. I mean, it was depressing.
Um, so quickly though, so you're transitioning a lot of things to Hemlane, right? You're not. Are you using the? Are you going to be on the full tier with the maintenance stuff also, or which tier are you going to be using?
I pay $18 a month per unit, whatever that is.
But so that I think so that's not with the automatic vendors, right? You're going to handle that on your own. Like if a maintenance request comes in, then you have
It
to.
has my preferred vendors listed in
Okay.
there.
Okay. Okay. And and on that you still have like an account manager, I think you were saying, right? Someone that
Mm-hmm.
was helping you. Okay. I wonder if
Yeah, because
okay.
I have over 100 rentals with Hemlane. I think there's like 120 something or somewhere in there.
Okay.
And next month it'll be up to like 150.
Okay. I wonder if yeah, maybe I gotta message Dana because I know some people were curious that I guess they didn't have an account manager. So they
That
were
might be
trying
due to size,
yeah.
because
Okay.
if you have 10 rentals, there's not a whole lot to manage within an account, right? But that might just be due to the unit count.
Yeah, makes sense. Flavio says, oh no, he already, no, no, Cody, it was hard to deal with those tenants. And did you get help from the city?
It was very difficult, very hard. That was a multi-year process. I mean, it took 4 years to make the property feel safe to hang out at. So you figure
4 years.
it's not easy. A typical turnaround of a building, like apartments, is 18 months. If you can do it in 18 months, you're hitting average. Well, that's for like a normal building. This building was messed up head to toe. Everything was wrong with it. Sometimes you just have tenant problems. Sometimes you just have building problems. Majority of the tenants there were beyond intimidating. Like one of them, I won't go into very big specifics, but he walk around with just this massive gun on his side because we were outside city limits. Like the cops didn't go there. And I mean, I bought properties where the cops wouldn't go. Now I can call the cops and they'll show up, but back then they wouldn't go there. So yeah, that was pretty tough.
And
But
Flavio wants to make fun of Pittsburgh market for walking around with a bulletproof vest. So I guess everywhere there's going to be markets like that, right? There where it's less than desirable, right? Where your people are afraid to
yeah,
walk around.
well, I'm just glad I did it when I was 21 and stupid enough not to think about it. There's a reason that deal didn't trade.
Yeah, Hyder says money is dirty and stinks when the nose can sense it. The body is ingesting it. I'm a huge fan of respirators. Yeah. Hey, Janelle's here. Trying to get Janelle to be one of the Wednesday school member introductions on our live streams. She says she might need an adult smoothie though to be on a live stream. So I told her not a problem. I said Dion does it all the time. So we'll see if we can convince her to get on. But we will have the one and only Big Val on this Wednesday. So I convinced Val to be on. So Val will be on here Wednesday sharing his story with us. But yeah, like I said, you're and Justin. We're talking about Q1. You talked about like having these big capexes. The first 4 or 5 weeks, I believe you said every week. And that me and Curtis, the live stream we did on Saturday, the kind of main topic was from an Alux video, and it was kind of talking about when you have these type of problems, it's almost like means you're winning in a sense, though. So I know, like you said, it's hard to stomach these every week, having these big capexes every week. But in the grand scheme of things, is it kind of do you think it falls under that? Having these type of problems or having these, you have these assets, right? Overall, and problems do happen. So if you're able to step back and it's still winning, like you said, it's moving the ball forward, right?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I was thinking about it this morning. When I was getting started, I was so excited to own 112 and have the ability to go work on it. And today, I mean, I look at it differently because I've been abused by my rentals, I would say. But it's such a better problem to have because someone moves out, someone moves back in, an extra $100. It's an extra $1,200 a year for the rest of my life, and then it'll get better and better and scales. So yeah, I'm grateful that I get to figure it out. It's just not fun when you're going through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and we always talk about it. I know we say it a lot, everyone, but that's kind of why it's great, being around this community, right? It's just you realize it kind of happens, and those are things that come up every so often. And if you look at the big picture of things, though, right? So it is a good problem to have in a sense, right? Like you said. Let's see. Ooh, what was the biggest lesson you learned from Q1? Anything that stood out for you?
Yeah. Um, biggest lesson: need more reserves. And I was really happy. I had yeah, that bird sound. Hershey.
That's a
Hershey.
toy, right? I think.
Yeah, it's my dog. Come here. So yeah,
Wait, so
come here.
Hershey and Oreo?
Yep. Hop up. It wasn't planned.
Hey.
Yeah, he was playing with a toy. You need more reserves than you think you need, though. Because
Very
I
true.
thought I had it all. Like I had more money than I'd ever had just chilling in an account. And the other lesson in that is money will find a place to go.
Lynn says that is not a bird. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Yes, that is not a bird, Lynn. Yes, definitely. Yeah. For some, it's almost like they know you have the reserves, right? Like your properties know you have this reserves built up, and it's like, oh, well, let's just. They said let's take advantage of it now, right? So definitely, yeah, having reserves is definitely important. And yeah, it sucks at the time, but like you said, it is a good problem to have, right? I mean, I'd rather have these expenses come up than not have assets at all to deal with, right? So definitely a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Q1. Oh yeah,
but
go
I'd
ahead.
rather if I got to choose, I'd rather have the assets and not have the expense.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
One day.
So how yeah how would you okay so now did Q so saying that did Q1 change anything about your strategy then or moving forward?
Well, I'm still doing what I've always been doing, at least for the last year. I'm pushing into newer stuff. I'm working on getting into newer properties, lowering my cost of living. I am working on taxing my assets, not myself. So, a big part of my story. I bought a bunch of stuff. Eventually, I had partners. And so I did just film a good video with Christian that went out. And he was a partner for a while. And we scaled. We had a lot of big wins. But getting out of that partnership and some of the capital partners we brought on, I seller financed out my partners and owned stuff by myself. So I have a big monthly obligation to those partners right now. And so well, the people that were partners, just investor payments, it's like 11 grand a month. And so right now I've been paying that for who knows how long. It's been years. And I'm just trying to chunk those down little by little. So I'm paying off 50,000 this week. And we got to pay off 20,000 June 1st. And so I'm going to keep chunking those down and try and get that amount back every month. So I'm doing everything I can to shift into the new to get away from some of those problems, the lessons from Q1. And to help build the reserves, I'm just focused on kind of counterintuitive. But when I get reserves or a liquidity event from a cash out refi on these properties, I take the money, I throw it at the investor debts, is what I call them, the partner buyouts. And then that gives me a little bit more cash flow every month. Like that $20,000 debt, that'll get me back $166 a month because it's at 10% interest. So, that now I can funnel that into the next one and then the next one and eventually get the 11 grand a month back.
Janelle. Oh, well, first Victor says you will need to buy new properties, and I think that's kind of what you said, what you're transitioning to, right? So that's part of what you are working on moving forward. Janelle is asking any advice for a part-time residential realtor negotiating their first commercial deal, small commercial sixplex.
Yeah, lock in your debt as long as you can. So don't do a 3-year balloon or 3-year fix. Try and get what you're probably going to get on that is a 5.5. So you'll be fixed for 5 years and then you'll get another 5. Just make sure you have good cash flow and have a value add strategy on your first one. Don't just buy one to set it and forget it. That would be my take. Do the set it and forget it deals later once you're super rich or once it's like your 10th deal. But in the beginning, do a value add strategy so you can boost the cash flow way above and beyond your debt service would be my encouragement.
Flavio says, how many units a W-2 person needs to cover 50K yearly income? How many?
Oh, okay. So it depends on your leverage point. So it could be, I look at it as NOI. NOI is your cash flow if you have no debt. If let's say you have a property with 100,000 NOI, That could be my brand new 7-plex, which has got like 105 NOI. It could be my 12-plex, which is right at 97. I got a 12-plex that's at 130. You just do the math. It's like, okay, what size property would I need in my market to get to an NOI of 100 grand? And then what kind of debt would I be able to have on it to where I keep at least 50 of the 100? So in practical application, that might look like you have a property that brings in 150,000 in rents, 50,000 in expense, 50,000 in debt, and now you have 50,000 in cash flow. If you're higher leverage because you don't have a lot of money, it could be a property that brings in 200,000 in income. Maybe you have 50 to 60,000 in expenses and 90,000 to 100,000 in debt payments. So your debt coverage is a little less, but you still get that 50 grand cash flow. There's lots of ways to do it, but you just got to work backwards and figure out what kind of properties can produce an NOI of X amount above the $50,000 a year. You just take the 50 grand you need, tack on your debt payment, and that's the NOI number you need. Now you can look for properties that produce that.
All right, Flavio, hopefully that answered your question. So let's see. So you did talk about Q1, and you guys also talked about Q2 objectives, you and Justin Camera. So I think part of it was systematized management. So we kind of touched on that a little bit the other week, and I know you talked to Zuber about it also. So that's kind of what you're using Hemlane for, to kind of systematize some of your management, bring some of that in-house. And how's that process been going for you?
It's good. I'm really grateful that the Hemlane team is doing the onboarding for me, because manually inputting all those people's info, not interested. So yeah, it's good. My wife built a very cool tool that is modeled exactly around the data that Hemlane can produce. So that's what she does for work. She builds dashboards, and like you upload the information into a Dropbox, and then it'll automatically sync all the data with this dashboard that she built. So it shows me stuff like economic occupancy, impending the impending leases that could affect revenue, because I want to know what's coming, not like where we're at. It's easy to know where we're at, but knowing what's coming and seeing that visually, it's like, oh, you have $6,050 of potential revenue that won't come in 61 days. Like it just illustrates the data clearly. So she built that for us, and I'm getting accustomed to reading that, and it's been good.
Nice. Yeah, I think we touched on it a bit last week too. I think I like Hemlane. A lot of people in our community use Hemlane, but yeah, there's a lot of platforms out there. So just reach out to people in our community and see what works best for you. You know, Hemlane, I know people use Turbo Tenant. I think Jared's big on Turbo Tenant, but he's doing more rent by the room. So for whatever reason, he prefers that platform. But you know, you have Rent Ready. I know Renee, Landlord Forever. He was able to get Appfolio to work with him, so he uses Appfolio for his self-managing. But you also talked about, I think you touched on it a bit. Were you talking about building consistency with your monthly cash flow? Was that something you guys talked about for Q2 objectives?
Oh yeah, I mean, I want consistent cash flow every month, and so I own some properties in my name, and I haven't been able to set up auto ACH, because you can't do an ACH out of a personal account at the institutions that I bank at. And I don't know if you can anywhere in the US. So what I am doing is I'm moving my ownership vesting. So part of the refinance, I'm moving it into an LLC. And what I'm doing to create consistent cash flows, I'm just setting up the auto ACH. I'm just taking money that I could transfer, but instead of doing the auto transfer, I just do extra upgrades. So now I'm forcing myself to pay myself. So I'm like, oh, I have an extra $2,000. Let me do this upgrade at this property. But it's a good way to stay broke personally. So I was like, nah, I'm just going to take $2,000 out of this property. It's auto ACH to my personal account. The property doesn't need me to do that right now. I've done enough. So let me just force myself to take money out. And that's exciting.
Nice. And I think you guys talked about house hacking townhomes. Is that something you guys discussed?
Yeah, so I'm working on that. We'll see. We'll see if it comes. You got to close it, right? But assuming it comes together, we'll live in one of our townhomes for free. That'll eliminate a $1,800 rent, a $100 utility bill. Property will pay for itself and cash flow a little bit, and we'll just live there for a year or so, and that'll be nice. Saving an extra $23,000 a year, that adds up.
Yeah, like I said, anyone, Justin and Cody live stream on Wednesdays. This past one they did was about their Q1 breakdown and what they're going to be working on for Q2. And like I said, Cody also did a great sit down with his old partner Christian. So go check that out. Also, I don't know if it's on Cody's channel. I know it's on Christian's multifamily strategies. Go check that out. That was a great sit down between the two of them. So how do you? I think some people, they may have saw that video with you and Christian, and they feel like Christian maybe got the better deals maybe of your guys' separation, going your guys' own direction. But I don't know. The way I see it is, you did it for certain reasons that fit your goals and your lifestyle, what you're trying to accomplish, right? So can you maybe either confirm what I'm feeling, I think, or disagree with what I'm thinking, or like, am I seeing it wrong, like from that kind of maybe discussion a little bit?
I suppose the art of a good negotiation is to make the other party feel like they got a leg up, wouldn't it? So
Yeah.
if people feel that way, that probably means I did a good job negotiating and structuring the deal. Because I personally feel like I structured an excellent deal for me.
Yep.
But what's your take on why his side was better?
I think if you just look like you said, it's like surface level, right? When you just hear kind of like he got X this, X that, or X that, right? So you're just kind of looking at the surface numbers maybe presented, or the general deal break, or what he got maybe, right? Someone would be like, oh, Christian got all of this out of their partnership and Cody's only getting this amount type of thing, right? But then I think you might mention it after this, but it's also maybe what type of headaches he received, maybe. So like you're saying, it's the negotiation part of it, and to what that actual person is seeing, right? So like you're saying, maybe to the surface level, it seems like someone got the better deal of it, but for what your needs were and what you wanted out of it, it actually worked better for your situation, what you got, right?
What I've learned from meeting with really well-off individuals is that wealthy people successfully manage the things they have to do with the things they get to do. So, obligations and options. The way I see it, Christian got more assets out of the partnership than I did, which is fine. I'm really happy. I've told him this so many times. His upside potential is way bigger than mine. But it goes back to that conversation from the people that I've met with. It's obligations are things you have to do, options are things you get to do if you want to. And wealthy people manage those. The exit gave him more upside and gave him more stuff, but it also gave him more things he has to do. And he's brought that up many times too. He has to do certain things that I don't have to do. I chose optionality rather than an obligation. Now there's things I still have to do, but I have less of them. So if you want to just keep scaling to infinity, which I'm not saying that's him, but if that's your point of view, then Christian's end of the deal was ridiculously better. But if you want freedom faster, And the argument could be made that I got a better deal.
Totally agree. Great way to break it down. So, like I said, if you haven't seen that, sit down, go check it out. And maybe next week when me and Cody live stream again, you guys can say, who do you think got the better side of the deal, maybe, or what's
Since
your
you brought
thoughts?
that up, that didn't even come to my mind that people were thinking about that. But I guess I should rewatch the video because I haven't watched it. So
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think surface level, someone would be like you say, if you're just looking like maybe like asset acquisition, be like, oh yeah, Christian, how did Christian get all of this right out of the partnership? But then like you're saying, for what I'm trying to do, I would probably reach freedom sooner for what my goals are than taking on these other obligations, right? So, in your sense, I think for myself, I would say you won, and I think a lot of people in that small and mightier type of mindset would say you won also, right? But it's just for a lot of people that are just probably sitting down watching it, they would like, man, how did Christian get all of these assets out of the deal? But go check it out, everyone. It's a great sit down, seeing Cody and his old partner have a discussion. But Lynn is asking though, how many units does Cody currently have? How many are you self-managing?
mm, I I don't count. I just make sure stuff gets leased, but it's probably around 130, of which I only outsource 10 units for management. So I guess that would mean I manage 120 rentals.
All right, there you go, Lynn. Buildy Bunch coming from your channel says freedom faster. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that is the path that you're headed on, right? So like you said, Christian may have much more upside possibly, but we'll see how that turns out, right?
Well, and he has nicer stuff too. I mean, having more enables you to do more. He's got a nice house and cool cars. He gets to travel more. Like, he can do more because he has more. Like, that's just, if that's what you want, then that's what you want. But I don't want to go to that level and mess something up and have to start over.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. That's all let's see. Is anything yeah, that's all I really got for like like I said, your MLS video came out this past week, and then your video replay of the live stream with you and Justin Camera from Wednesday. But yeah, anything else you wanna put out there? There's Gus. I don't know what. Well, like I said, Gus will be here tomorrow with me live streaming, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, Cody, thanks for always doing this. Like I said, Tuesday, Thursdays, Cody puts out his videos every week, short and sweet. Whatever's top of mind for him. And then we usually like to dig in down every Monday on our live streams. And will you and Justin be live streaming this Wednesday also again? Or lined
We
up for
should
you guys?
be. Yeah, should be.
Alrighty, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great start to your week, and I'll see everyone tomorrow, same time. Thanks, Cody.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.